Hello and welcome to Maverrik Live. It is Wednesday the 3rd of February and today I'm joined by Martin Ellis.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back again, Luke.
It was up in the air, but we thought, yeah, we might be back on. So today we're going to be discussing getting what you need for your business. And we were having a bit of a conversation before when we went live. And we was talking about basically not everything needs to be a one-to-one sale. You can get a lot more out of your business or get what you need for your business, not just through the one-to-one process, but through like more of a partnership as well.
Yeah. There's because I think what we were talking about is the things that I used to do before, which is tendering and helping businesses to tender for work.
Yeah.
And we were discussing the fact that for small businesses, it's really hard these days to start in that sort of world, if you like, but they can look at partnering with other people. Is I think is where we were going with that. So they can look to work with other organisations to actually get some of this government money that's available. Yeah,
there's a lot of I'm going to say with tendering. There's a lot of schemes out there because it used to be a lot of hoops you needed to jump through in order to get it right.
Yeah,
which is something you had a lot of a hand in your past experience. But like you said today, now some of the large companies probably have it all, sort of figured out. They've got their teams.
Yeah.
But with smaller businesses, it can be a little bit more, a bit frightening to look at.
Yeah, it is. I think for them to and I think there's this historical thing going back with when you're trying to get work from the government, and then bearing in mind the government spend billions of pounds on contract services, goods, and all that sort of side of things. And they spend a lot of it now with the SMEs, the small to medium-sized enterprises, and they're looking to spend every £1 in 3 they want to give to those size of businesses. So there is money out there at the moment for people to get involved with. And I guess in these current times where businesses are maybe there's a little bit less to be going on, it's an opportunity for them to take a look at where they can get some guaranteed money, because the bonus as well with getting money from a government contract is they pay fairly quickly, so you're not hanging around for your money, and it's guaranteed.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what kind of contract you can get as well, because people think, it's just for government. They just have like these very formal sectors, and they just have they just fund it into these big companies. But I think you've mentioned it before. Currently, there's a tenure out for robotic lawnmowers. It's very very open to what you can provide for the government to get those contracts.
There are all sorts of contracts. There are strange things that you would never believe that they're after. And it's just a matter of just looking around and finding them. And there are plenty of places that a small business can do that. I would suggest any small business looking to get into that sort of side of things, they look at starting off with contracts up to about 100,000. And that's where we were saying about you could partner with somebody. If you're a little bit unsure, you could look to partner with somebody. So you might have a specific skill. You might have somebody else that you know, or maybe you don't know. And that's where we could, people could help find another business to work with you. And just partner together and go in for these sort of contracts. They've taken out a lot of the pre-qualifying stuff that you used to have to do now. You still need to have all the back-end bits of a business to make sure that you can meet their requirements, if you like. But they've just made it a lot easier. And actually, contracts that are below 25,000 and below are even easier to get. But you've just got to know where to find them and where to hunt for them and do that, find those sort of little niches in the market where you can get hold of them.
Yeah, with with online and all these online forms, it's becoming so much easier, and all these automated systems. Some of the times you'd have to get on the phone and request a form. They'd send you the form, you'd fill it out, or you create your own proposal and you put it out there. But probably nowadays it could be as simple as just finding it on the website and applying for it and going through all that.
The really low contracts, it's literally just doing quotations for a lot of the really low contracts now. And most businesses do those anyway.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be scary to any business. A lot of the time they're doing quotes all day long for certain things. So a lot of the smaller end contracts, like I say, below the 25,000, some of them just could be just as simple as filling out a couple of quotes for the work. But when you start getting bigger than that, then you are filling out a bit more paperwork that you've got to fill out. You've got to hit a few more regulatory requirements as well. So, and that's where you might need a little bit of further support to make it viable for you to do that. Really,
yeah, exactly. I just want to say hello to Oliver and hello to Josh. Welcome to join us for this live. So moving forward with these bigger contracts, with the smaller companies, obviously they've got quite niche offerings, and entrepreneurs who will get those niche offerings for those contracts. Like you said, we can actually partner with those larger companies if you have that niche offering to try and create this this partnership for them.
Sometimes a lot of the bigger companies are just missing small parts to deliver, and they do like to work with smaller organisations. And again, the bonus is there. When I was saying to you about the government have to pay within certain periods, so 99% of payments for anything under the sort of 100k sort of marks are paid within 30 days, as long as it's not undisputed, and 91% are paid within 5 days of you completing the work. So you're going to get those. Now the bonus there is that filters down into the private sector. So if a large organisation has won a tender or a contract, they have to follow the same sort of rules. So if you're part of a framework or working with a company or in a partnership, they have to follow the same sort of payment scheme, so that the government are saying, if we're going to give you the money, you need to make sure that any supplier that you're working with or anybody that you're working with is also getting the money, and you can't hold on to it.
So would you say it's beneficial to have in your proposal, if you're a small company, you could propose to the larger company and you could say the benefits of this other program, and then you can basically do like an upwards proposal for like a future.
And I mean, even if a contract's already been awarded, because you can see when you go onto these webs, there are a number of websites there that you can go onto to find contracts. There's specific ones for England, Wales, Northern Ireland and Scotland. But when you go on there, you can see who's been awarded some of the larger contracts. So even though it's been awarded, what you can do then is you can, find ways to get to talk to that company and just say, I've seen you've been awarded this. Do you know we offer this service, or we produce this product? Would that be something that would help you deliver the contract that you've just won?
It's also a great conversation starter to say, like, I noticed, it shows that you're looking at the business, is a little bit of a jumping off point. I mean, you can also say, well, we can help you with this element of it, and it shows that you're experienced with that element as well. So there's a lot that can be done just from searching for these tenders and seeing who's getting involved with them.
Yeah, see who's winning them, see what sort of values they're winning them at. The other thing as well is building relationships with the buyers themselves. So, I mean, they can't, obviously once they're in a tendering process, it gets a little bit more complicated. They'll only answer certain questions and things like that. But your smaller councils, your universities, your colleges, all those, because it's not just councils that do it. There's lots of organisations that spend government money. It's worth spending a little bit of time, investing a little bit of time, finding out who the buyers are. When we get back to normal times, they do a thing called Meet the Buyer. It's always worth going along to those sort of things. And then you get to talk face to face with the people that are signing things off or looking to procure things. And you can explain a little bit about what your business does. And it's about building that relationship. So the next time a tender comes out or they need a quote for something, they'll think, I met so-and-so. Let's just make sure they're aware of it, because they were really good to deal with.
It's also a great way to refine your offering as well, because if you're looking at these contracts and see what's coming out there, you can kind of get a state of where the world is looking towards building. You can see where the government is spending. You can see what people need and what people are looking for. So if you're kind of stuck trying to, redefine yourself in this current, climate, it's a good way to look at it would be like, okay, so see what people want, what people would want from us, and what we can do.
Yeah, and like I say, they're coming out with all the strangest things that they're requesting now.
Yeah.
So it's so your business may be going in one direction at the moment. It may have stalled a little bit in current times, but you might have this opportunity to think, well, actually, now that I've seen that, we could actually make our business work that way and go that way. So it's worth looking at what's going on. Yeah, what people are looking to procure.
So we're not saying if you're in the business of creating tires, you're going to pivot off now and sell pretzels. No, just because we're giving up a contract doesn't mean you need to go that way.
No. Yeah, I'm not saying to completely go off in a completely different direction, but you might find something that you didn't realise. I think if we went back 9 months, there were people making masks all of a sudden.
Yeah, of different sort of.
They were like window tinters before. But they used to use the plastic, and then they decide they could do that sort of side of things. And what I'm saying is that even going into the future, you may find that there are opportunities there that a little tweak to your business may actually give you more opportunities to work, or partnership with somebody else, or, build relationships with somebody else.
Yeah, so it's all about looking for those opportunities and then just discussing them with, obviously using the social selling method to create a relationship with someone, talk to them, and then maybe see where you can then push that into another contract.
I mean, as a business, we've done it. The reason I guess we can talk about this is because we have done it. We've got partnerships with other organisations where they've looked at what we can deliver and how we can deliver things and what we use to deliver it. So mainly the social media side, or the training, or and we've gone into partnership with them to win a tender, and then we're delivering parts of that tender. They'll deliver the other side of it, and we're delivering another part of it. So there are those sort of opportunities there. And then once you've got that going, you sort of get the bug for it, I think. And I think you think this is it's good money. You get paid on time. It's regular.
It's someone who pays you on time. It's just
even today, these days, as you say, my role is finance. I know what it's like. But to know that it's coming and it's guaranteed and it's, it's a little bit of
safety, and then it helps you mentally, helps the business, push it forwards, and you just sort of get a nice warm fuzzy feeling.
So it's, I think it's definitely a direction that we're going to look to push a little bit more. There's, like I say, there's so many government organisations out there, and I do think everybody just thinks it's the big spends. There are lots of little, like I said, some of the contracts that we've been doing are, 20, 30,000. But if you get a few of those,
like you said before, it was daunting in the past, and now we've kind of opened up and made it a little bit simpler for these small businesses to be a part of the smaller-ish contracts.
Yeah, I think that, and again, that goes back. They started changing this actually, it's quite a long time ago, and it sort of falls back to the Olympic Games stuff that I did. And after that, where they wanted to make things a little bit more sustainable for smaller businesses and make it easier for them, they sort of realised that all these hoops, if you go to a small business and say, I need to see your environmental accreditations and your ISO for quality, and a lot of small businesses can't afford to do all that side of things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have that, but there are other ways of demonstrating as a small business that you've thought about the environmental impact that you have. And a lot of organisations will take that as well as, having the actual ISO accreditation. But if you can demonstrate that, and again, for quality, if you can show your processes isn't the way you deliver, produce a product or deliver a service, and that the quality is there, you don't need the full-blown necessary accreditation. But if you need to put something together that demonstrates that.
Yeah.
So it's all about making it a lot more accessible for a small business to get involved. And they seem to have done that.
Great if they stop putting off, putting people off, just trying to go for it, which is good.
And I think that's what they've done in the past. It's always been, and I'm forever seeing things, it's not, all these myths about tendering or working with the government, or they want your work. They'd rather work with local small businesses or, UK businesses. They want to really work as much as they can. So they're trying to make it easier.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming down for Maverrik Live. If you have any questions regarding this topic at all, just leave us a comment on our social media pages and we will answer them lickety-split. But thanks again for coming down, Martin.
Thanks for having me.
I've been Luke too. This has been Maverrik Live. Have a wonderful day.